Greetings everyone, so That's 98 back at it again with another reaction. Looking at the complete history of Super Sentai from 1975 all the way to 2024. Featuring Power Rangers, of course. Still, it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to seeing how this all goes down, because this is almost an hour-long video. So I think I'm going to have to break this up into 3 or 4 parts, depending on how things go for what are the best places to stop for this. In the meantime, let me know what you guys think as we go into it and look through the, I believe it's called the Showa era. Here we go. So we're going to do the Showa era first. Then we're going to see if we need to break up the Heisei era into 2 parts, considering that's like 30 minutes of video there. So let's get into it.
For over 50 years, Super Sentai has established its reputation as one of the largest, most creative, and successful superhero franchises in the world.
No kid.
Throughout multiple eras, Super Sentai has evolved with many different styles, themes, and stories, and today I'm going to be featuring every single one of these historic milestones. This video features every season of Super Sentai, as well as all of the important films, crossovers, and even Western adaptations. So sit back and relax. This is the complete history of Super Sentai.
Yeah.
In 1975, Super Sentai would debut, although the series wouldn't be known by that name just yet. Kicking off the series was Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger, translated as Secret Squad 5 Ranger, created by Shotaro Ishinomori, who also created Kamen Rider, and inspired by the legendary 1972 anime Kagaku Ninja Tai Gatchaman. This debut series ran for a massive 84 episodes from 1975 to 1977. In Go Ranger, a planetary defense organization known as Eagle, or the Earth Guard League, stands against the evil Black Cross Army. After the Black Cross Army destroys many Eagle bases throughout Japan, only 5 members of Eagle remain, and they join together to become Go Ranger. In their battle against the Black Cross Army, the Go Rangers would utilize a variety of different weapons and tools to give themselves the upper hand in battle, and they removed their helmets' visors to produce their individual weapons. They also had motorcycles and an aircraft named Varibrune, a precursor to the mecha that would be featured in later seasons. With a likable cast, colorful suits, and cool pieces of equipment, Go Ranger set the standard for what would become one of the most legendary superhero franchises in the entire world. 1977 introduced the world to Jaka, Dengeki Tai, a sequel to Go Ranger that was also created by Shotaro Ishinomori, featuring a playing card motif represented by the J, A, K, and Q on their respective helmets, which of course stands for Jack, Ace, King, and Queen. The series would begin with only 4 members present on the team as they take on criminal organization crime before being led by Big One, the first ever White Ranger later in the series. Due to a lack of popularity, Jaka was cancelled early and the episode count finished at only 35 episodes, making it the shortest season of any official Sentai. Despite the early cancellation of the series, Jaka introduced many tropes and signature aspects of Super Sentai that would go on to be what this iconic franchise would be known for. This was the first series within the franchise to feature transformation devices for the Rangers to Henshin. This was the first series to feature a White Ranger, as I said. This was the first series to feature a skirt for a female ranger. This is one of only 4 teams to not have the word Sentai in their name, and the first Sentai to air in the Philippines, with the name Lucky Aces.
I can see that name fitting.
1979 was the year of Battle Fever J, a team of international heroes representing various countries and the first season to be known officially as Super Sentai. After Toei worked with Marvel Comics on the Spider-Man Toku series, Battle Fever J would also be produced by Marvel and even featured characters from Marvel such as Miss America. Each ranger on this team is named after various countries throughout the world, and Battle Fever J would help to solidify the Super Sentai formula going forward, with Battle Fever Robo, their giant mecha, and the first giant robo in Sentai history. Although Battle Fever J wasn't referred to as Super Sentai while on the air, it would later be recognized as the first season of Sentai, and then later on as the 3rd season of Sentai. The origins of the Super Sentai name were pretty messy. Battle Fever J was the first Sentai series to feature a Black Ranger and Orange Ranger. This was also the first series that featured mouths sculpted onto the heroes' helmets.
That makes sense.
After a successful 3rd entry into the series, Super Sentai would return again in 1980 with Denshi Sentai Denjiman. This series featured a team of heroes that descended from the people of Denji Star as they battled against the evil Vader clan. Featured within the Vader clan was Queen Hedrian, played by one of the most iconic Toku actresses of all time in Machiko Soga, who we'll definitely be talking about more throughout this video. Dingy Man was the first Sentai to have a transforming robo named Daidinjin, something that would go on to become one of Sentai's most well-known characteristics. This series was also the first series where the monster of the week would grow into a giant to fight the mecha. This series was also the first season to feature an actual visor on the helmets, while seasons prior to this one used the same material for the visors as the rest of the helmet. This was the first time that a Sentai had a device which gave them the ability to henshin anywhere, as before this they could only do it at specific locations.
Well, there we go.
After the success of Dingy Man, Toei prototyped various ideas for continuing on with the Dingy Man story. After much internal discussion, Toei decided to produce a direct sequel to Dingy Man in 1981, with the release of Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan, featuring the return of Machiko Soga's Queen Hedrion character alongside Hell Saturn, who was a pretty obvious Darth Vader ripoff. This was the final Sentai series to have a Marvel copyright attached to it, but Marvel would not be directly involved with this production. This was the only official Sentai series with only 3 members, and they represented land, air, and sea respectively.
Well,
this was the first season to have a combining robo, and this was the only Sentai season with no female rangers. The great Stan...
Yeah, thinking about it now, this is the only team that has missing a female member. Everyone else either has one join from the beginning or later.
Lee was a self-identified Sun Vulcan fan, and he wanted to adapt it into an American show, but the source material was considered too childish and silly by his peers, which made it very difficult to get off the ground, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
1982 featured a new Sentai representing various ancient civilizations, Dai Sentai Goggle 5, translated as Great Sentai Goggle 5. In Goggle 5, our heroes take on the dark science empire Death Dark, an evil organization responsible for the downfall and destruction of many civilizations throughout history. This show was originally meant to be called Go-Go 5, but that name would be used 17 years later. Goggle 5 was the last season where the Rangers would sport cloth suits featuring scarves, reminiscent of Kamen Rider.
Fair enough.
1983 brought us a Sentai season inspired by the game of baseball, Kagaku Sentai Dynaman, or Science Squad Dynaman. This series was originally conceptualized as a baseball-themed Sentai that would have been named Baseball Sentai V-Leaguer, but clearly it was changed to Dynaman, with more of a science theme. This series also has another unique distinction. Due to the excessive amounts of gunpowder and the prevalence of explosions in the series, fans in Japan would give Dynaman the nickname Kayaku Sentai because Kayaku means gunpowder in Japanese. This is the first Sentai season featuring spandex suits for the team, something that would become synonymous with Sentai and appear in all but 3 of the following seasons.
No, that's fair.
In 1984, Japan was introduced to Chodinshi Bioman, translated as Super Electron Bioman. Hundreds of years prior to the show, 5 people were showered with bioparticles, granting them power that would be passed down from generation to generation. The power would be lost until the android Pivo brings together 5 descendants to fight against Dr. Man and become Bioman. This season took a lot of risks in regards to tone and format, skewing to a slightly older audience. This was the first Sentai with 2 female Rangers, and also the first season with a female Yellow Ranger. And this was the only season of Sentai released prior to Zyuranger that would be featured in Power Rangers, as Bioman would be used in a very, very early pilot episode.
Okay, I didn't know that.
1985 featured a team of military personnel themed around mythological creatures, Dengeki Sentai Changeman. In this series, a team from the Earth Defense Force takes on the Great Star League Guzma in an effort to defend the Earth. After the success of Bioman, Toei tried to recapture the magic, although with a focus toward appealing to both older and younger audiences. Various tropes that had been abandoned by Bioman would return with Changeman, such as the Monster of the Week format. The original title of the series was going to be Uchi Sentai Cosmo Man and would have been themed around space. This was the first season with a female White Ranger. 1986 was the year of Choshinsei Flashman, or Supernova Flashman. This series featured a team of Rangers who were kidnapped by the reconstructive Experiment Empire mess before being rescued and trained on different planets by an alien race called Flash. After returning to Earth years later, they would form Flashman and fight against Mess. But due to what is known as the anti-Flash phenomenon, they would only be able to remain on Earth for 1 year before they would start to take damage. Flashman is notable for being the first season to ever add a second giant robo in Great Titan. 1987 saw the release of one of the most popular international releases in Super Sentai history with Hikari Sentai Maskman, also known as Light Squad Maskman. This series was originally conceptualized as somewhat of a callback to previous series, with the original suit designs featuring helmet molds that were reminiscent of Battle Fever J. In fact, the look of X1 Mask would keep this aesthetic. Eventually, during pre-production, the project would go in a new direction with a completely fresh theme, ki power and auras. Our team would utilize internal aura power and channel this energy into a fight against Underground Empire 2. As I mentioned, this series featured X1 Mask, who only appeared in one episode, but is widely considered a precursor of the official 6th Rangers that would come later. This is also the first season where each member of the team had their own individual mecha, something that would go on to be a signature element of the Sentai formula. In 1998, Toei released the final Super Sentai show of the Showa era, Shouju Sentai Live Man, translated as Super Beast Squad Live Man. This was an animal-themed Sentai and was considered an anniversary season due to Gold Ranger and Battle Fever J not originally being recognized as Sentais. Our heroes were gifted students from Academia Island who fight against the armed brain army Volt as Live Man. Assisted by the android Colon, Live Man would add 2 more Rangers to their original 3-man team, being the first season to do so. This season was also the first season to feature a female Blue Ranger, and it was the first season with a Black and Green Ranger on the same team.
Well, there we go. So that was the Showa era. So I might have to break up the Heisei era at this point, considering that was only 12 minutes of the first part. Yeah, there's still a good 30-minute chunk here to break. Now, I think I'm going to have to break it up into 2. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. Nice to know how it evolved and how the creative changes eventually made the tropes that we are familiar with today in Super Sentai. So since they originally weren't there at all when you think about it. Pardon me. Anyway, let's get into it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Looking forward to seeing what you guys think of the next portion. And let me know down in the comments below if you have any requests for the videos. Like, comment, subscribe to the video. Please let me know if you have other requests about any other Toku content, or if you guys have other videos like fanmations or fan-mades, or heck, even want me to review a fanfic about Kamen Rider or just for Toku content if you want. I don't mind a good read. Anyway, you guys take care. I'll see you on the next video. Bye!